Hi, Adrian White here. I got typed up what I want to say on this video, and that's probably why people see me looking down a lot. And with that said, I'll go ahead and get into it. Before King Yahusha died for people's sins and was brought back to life, after people died, they were not entering into heaven. Good people were entering into basically a part of hell that had no suffering, and bad people, who were actually with a large distance separated from the good people, were actually entering into a part of hell that involved them suffering. In scripture, and when I say scripture, I'm talking about what many people know as the Bible. In scripture, one example of the suffering was a man who had really nice clothes. He was happy and he was actually rich on earth. And a poor beggar man used to be laid outside his gate starving and desiring to even be able to eat the crumbs that fell off that rich man's table. The rich man never ended up helping him though, and the poor man ended up dying on earth and entering into that basically non-suffering part of hell. Then sometime after, the rich man died on earth. And afterwards, the rich man lifted up his eyes and saw that he was in the suffering part of hell. And the rich man was suffering in flame. Since King Yahushua came and died for people's sins and was brought back to life, good people don't have to enter into any part of hell at all anymore after they die. They enter heaven. But bad people still enter into hell for the suffering purposes. And I just talked about how that rich man entered into a part of hell that involved suffering. And he was suffering in flame. Now concerning people, I do want to connect other words to good and bad though, to kind of make things more clear for anyone listening. I want to connect the word good with acceptable and the word bad with unacceptable. And I'm talking about acceptable or unacceptable to King Yahushua right now. So an example of good/acceptable people are people that treat others good just like how they themselves will want to be treated good. And people who are against and who avoid doing sins. And people who also accept King Yahushua and care about what he did for people. Again, King Yahushua died for people's sins no matter their skin color, what country they live in, or what neighborhood they're from. And now people can be forgiven for their sins plus enter heaven because of him. And an example of bad/unacceptable people are people that really only care about themselves and who are willing to do bad or wrong stuff towards others. People that refuse to stop doing sins, and also they couldn't care less about King Yahushua. I know for a fact that King Yahushua is real. He spoke to me verbally. And I talked about that in one of my videos I did on here. And the video is called A Little Introduction to Me and Who Spoke to Me, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. And it can be found on my playlist called From the Beginning. But that about wraps up what I wanted to say on this video though. This was part 2. I did part 1 before this. This is part 2. So with that said, I'll go ahead and say bye for now.